Hello, hello, YouTube University students, and welcome back to Opa's Garage. And as you can see, we're not in the garage right now. We're actually in my Ford Excursion. And we're wanting to get the Excursion up into the garage because either the alternator's gone bad or the battery's getting weak, but she's dead. And I'm here by myself at home. All my kids are grown and gone. My wife's out grocery shopping. Got no grandkids to help me. How am I going to get this big old boat up into that garage? Now, yeah, I could change the battery. I could change the alternator out here. But if you look up in the sky, yeah, this is Indiana. It could rain any minute, and I don't care to get wet. So I want to get it into the garage or into the barn. Now, like most people, I got me an old tire laying there, and I could go ahead and take that tire and take a ratchet strap, and I could put it on the front of one of my trucks out here, and I could push it up into the garage. Or I could take the side-by-side and I could hook a chain to the side-by-side and I could pull it up into the garage. Or if I didn't care about the back end of the Excursion, I got a plow back there. I could just take that plow and just shove it up into the garage. But one of the major problems with doing that, especially when you're by yourself, is say you hook a chain to the side-by-side and you hook onto the front of this. A Ford Excursion, it ain't a light vehicle. This is a big old boat. And when you get up over that little hump right there at the entrance to the garage, that chain gets some slack in it. You stop side by side. Next thing you know, the Excursion's running into the back of the side by side. You don't want that. Same thing with pushing it in with another vehicle. You push it in with another vehicle, it gets up over the hump, and now she's a runaway freight train. She's just going to stop whenever she feels like stopping or whenever she hits something. Definitely don't want that either. So anyway, the other day I was watching Stephen Cox's new YouTube channel. I believe it's called Stephen Cox's Other YouTube channel. And I want to give credit where credit's due. And I saw that he had made one of these. It's a little push bar. Now what makes that really, really handy? Well, it hooks the back end of this vehicle to the front end of this vehicle. Or if you don't have a front hitch, you could use the back hitch on a truck or a car or whatever. But anyway, it hooks the two vehicles together. So when this vehicle stops, this vehicle stops. Now the one thing that I did a little different than what he did was, once again, I'm out here working by myself, and as you can see, I pulled up, and just like when you're trying to hook onto a hitch, I pulled up. Oh my goodness, so close. What a pain in the butt that is. So what I did, I made this end of the hitch adjustable. Pull that pin, raise her up, slide her a little bit. Come on. Voila. She locks in place. Now, put that little bung right there. This is a grade 8 bolt that I cut the threads off of, and I rounded the end a little bit. I just set it right there in the top. And as I pull this forward, this will slide forward on this, and that'll drop down in that hole, lock everything together. So let's see how that works. Get in the old trusty F350 that I left the keys on the floor instead of leaving them in the ignition. We fire it up. We pull forward until we feel some resistance. Now at this point I like to go ahead and get out and double check. Yep, I ain't used it enough for that pin to drop every single time, so might have to wallow that hole out just a little bit. But now I can get in and we're hooked together. When I go forward, the Excursion goes forward. When I stop, it stops. When I back up, the Excursion backs up. So let me show you what we got here, what it took to build this thing. Okay, so what did it take to make this? This is 2-inch heavy gauge, and it's a heavy duty. That's probably 3/16, maybe 1/4 inch 2-inch square tubing. And then this stuff here is 2.5-inch square tubing. Also, as you can see, the very heavy duty, heavy gauge stuff. Could you get away with doing this with lighter gauge material? Yep. And believe me, all this stuff together, I think it weighs 80 pounds if I remember right. The 2-inch main tube is 7 foot long. The short tube, I think if I remember right, was like 18. Yeah, it's like 18 inches. The long tube that's adjustable is 28 3/4. As you can see, I welded a collar on there so that when you're sliding this one into place, as it slides up, it'll dead end right up against that, and then you drop your pin in. I'm not going to explain why there's 2 holes. That was one of those things where I was doing overkill and don't really need to have 2 holes or 5/8 grade 8 bolts that I'm dropping in there. I took 2 5/8 grade 8 bolts and cut the threads off, rounded the ends, drilled a hole just in case I wanted to put me a safety pin in there to keep it from popping out. Maybe for some reason somebody breaks down a couple miles down the road, and I'll just use this push bar to push them home as opposed to taking the trailer to go get them. But at any rate, you take this one and you slide it, it dead ends, drop your pin down in there, and then you put that on usually your push vehicle, and then your pusher vehicle, you pull it up until you're at least somewhat close. I mean, you can be a foot, 1.5 feet away, and you'll still be able to slide that out, and probably all the way out to like here, and still have what, good 8-10 inches of bar that you don't have to worry about it falling out. Hook it onto the push vehicle, and then as you push the vehicle towards the vehicle you want to push, that'll slide like I showed you in the video earlier, and then the pin should drop through there all the way out, lock itself in. Now, the one other thing that I did on the tube that you put on the end that you're going to hook to your pushing vehicle is I welded a plate up in here so that just in case when you're pushing up there, in case your pin doesn't fall through there like it's supposed to, this tube will bottom out when it hits there, and at that point it lines up perfect with the hole. So you don't have to worry about shoving that tube all the way through this tube and shoving it out here and maybe damaging something in there. Weld a little plate right there to stop it, and then after you weld that plate in place, that's when you want to drill your hole for your safety pin. This might be material you just have laying around your shop. I was actually fortunate enough that this was material that I had laying around my shop. The only thing that I had to buy were the couplers. They're 2-inch couplers. I think I bought them from Amazon. I think they were like $16, $18 a piece, and if you go to like Walmart or any of your Farm and Fleet stores, they're probably not even $20 a piece, or if you've got a Harbor Freight close by, I think they're between $15 and $20. But if you have to buy all this material, you're probably looking at $100 max. I wouldn't think it'd cost any more than that to get a piece of 2-inch square tubing and a couple pieces of 2.5-inch square tubing. So, and it's a very handy little device, especially like I said, when you're home by yourself and you want to move a vehicle and you're wanting to push it up into a building and you don't want it to just get away from you. You hook 2 vehicles together and there you go. You can push that vehicle and you can stop it where you want to stop it, and you don't have to worry about it running into something that you don't want it to run into. So hope this helps somebody, and hope you got some usefulness out of it. If you did, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and until then, keep on living your best life and get on out in the garage and fix something, or get out in the garage and build something, maybe something like this push bar.